Hi guys, I hope you have a nice day and I'm glad you're here with me. Today I will tell you my opinion about game EVERSPACE 2 that I played, all the pros and cons of this game. Let's go! After a long spell in early access, EVERSPACE 2 is finally set for departure, allowing fans of space operas to dive into a vast and treacherous galaxy. This is an action combat game deeply rooted in an evolving storyline. And one of those codes where it knows very clearly what it's aiming for, an adventure of galactic proportions with an arcade style and a well-rounded and polished feel. EVERSPACE 2 takes place several years after the events from EVERSPACE, where you play as Adam Roslin, but with his original body deceased, you now instead pilot his military clone, and last instance of who he was, but with mostly fragment memories. You explore open space flying between planets, fighting pirates, and collecting loot and resources. You have a home base you use said resources to upgrade in order to unlock new functionality and ship customization. The campaign in this single-player space shooter takes you across a map with various planets that opens gradually with missions in procedurally generated maps. This is perfect for players looking for additional thrills in sequenced runs. But the average gamer will find comfort in the dozens of hours that a single run offers, with all the side missions to dive into and the fierce dogfight to engage in. There is more than enough to keep you busy for several days, and it's impossible to overlook the Star Wars feel. EVERSPACE 2 screams for mouse and keyboard control, the best way to participate in frantic dogfights that literally sweep you off your feet and turn you upside down. With accurate mouse control, you can pick the targets carefully. It's important to learn all the EVERSPACE 2 controls and be very familiar with them. In most battles, outlaws won't group up in more than threes. As mentioned, the main crux of the game is dogfighting in spaceships, but the manner in which you dogfight is entirely up to you. There are three main ship types, basically light, medium, and heavy, and three subclasses for each type. When combined with the impressive variety of primary and secondary weapons, different shield models, boost models, and energy cores, the build variety is staggering. You can pilot anything from a small and fast glass cannon light to lumbering heavy. Dogfighting is at the core of EVERSPACE 2, and it's where the game truly shines. Your ships are a responsive bunch, maneuvering almost as gaming character with an octave hack activated. The way you strafe and rolls, hover and boost, everything feels reactive and refined, frantic and weighty, with a real fear for the way each laser or missile tracks down and hits your enemies, with the resulting satisfying explosion in both visual and aural sense. Your ship comes with an ultimate and few skills to use when the going gets tough. Speaking of leveling up, EVERSPACE 2 has it. While it's much more action than RPG, there is some light RPG elements present, with the obvious one being how you gain experience and levels throughout the game. Each level adds some base stats and gives you a point you can use to upgrade one of your ship's aforementioned devices. For all the action there, EVERSPACE 2 does try to balance it with a little puzzle solving, oddly enough, for a game set in space. Using the very precise ship control, you are thrust into true claustrophobic challenges, searching for generators to blast and power sources to carry around, unlocking doors and gateway to progress. I found this annoying at best and downright frustrating at worst. The controls are tight, no complaints there, but some of the puzzles require extremely tight piloting that hasn't seemed to take the game's physics into account. The downside is that some of these sections lack distinguishing landmarks, which add to the dim lighting and directional freedom, make it extremely easy to get lost and frustrated. Moving back and forth inside an negligent hulk or curve gets tiring when the objectives are somewhat unclear, or your ships rather just don't want to pick them up, making you earn for your times out there in wide open space. A number of these puzzles left me scratching my head, but never for too long. While many missions still boil down to fly here and shoot all the guys with raid around them, the variety of tasks meant I never found myself bored with EVERSPACE 2 missions. The outcome of the fights often turns into a deluge of loot to pick up, naturally divided into various rarities, from the lowly uncommon right up to the sought after superior. The open world roaming is made via jump drives and encourage planet exploration with plenty of materials ripe for the talking. Some of them are hidden inside metallic hulls, others are simply drifting in space, waiting to be pulled into your ship. Minerals can be shot so that you can collect the shards, and some merchandise that you discover may fetch a good price in one of the trading posts. It's true that there is a certain degree of grind to EVERSPACE 2 that you must accomplish if you plan on crafting the best gear, leveling up, companion perils, and staying competitive. A constant search for materials is needed if you want to face the fights with a confident outlook, unless you prefer to head over to the setting and lower the difficulty. Taking only to the main story will quickly find you multiple levels below you enemies, making it almost a requirement that you do few jobs or side missions between story bits. As you might have guessed, EVERSPACE 2 is a sequel, but one of that drops the roguelite elements of the original in favor of a more straightforward action RPG approach. This makes it easier for developer Rockfish to tell you a story, but also makes it easier to cure your dream ship and loadout without having it snatched from you by one bad fight. Despite being a big fan of the original's format, I do think the move away from roguelike was a good call, as it likely will give the game the wider audience it so very much deserves. The biggest game-changing dynamic in EVERSPACE 2 is that you can get companions who join you throughout the story. The only letdown is that travel in general seems slow for a game that's supposed to be fast-paced. Only time will tell if the changes or stay the same. Here to hoping Rockfish Games keep up the amazing work and release more content for EVERSPACE 2. EVERSPACE 2 does feature an absolutely amazing visual design overall. Developers appear to have done a great deal to create a believable region in space. Rockfish Game did an amazing job capturing the hypnotical method of travel. You'll see other planets that look like they were meticulously placed in each spot, stars dot here and there. The all too well-known Hydra are also presented in EVERSPACE 2. The Hydra is a strange alien-like plant that can corrode your ship, but they'll also draw you in for a closer look with the vibrant colors and beautiful designs. It all comes together to build a breathtaking and immersive atmosphere that you can actually get lost in. Great voice acting makes the characters really stand out, and there is tons of backstory and flavor written for the world that make it feel rich and lived in. No two weapons ever sounded exactly the same, for example. Super light travel was often accompanied by the sounds of techno music from out of 90s space opera. Since it often took a bit of time to get to place, the driving music was a very welcome addition to the experience. The title has virtually everything a person can ask for in a space shooter title. Yes, EVERSPACE 2 is extremely engaging and gorgeous space shooter supported by the gripping storyline. The action is frantic and head-turning and cunningly balanced by the interior section with a puzzle approach. In all my time with the game, I didn't run into any bugs, graphical or otherwise. Controls were tight and the minute-to-minute gameplay just feels great and smooth. If you're looking for another space-themed adventure game, do yourself a favor and check out EVERSPACE 2. What else? EVERSPACE 2 evokes a kind of man, I'm badass spice pilot feeling. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got another distress call to respond to. That's all, thanks for listening to the end. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to leave a like, I would really appreciate it. And also subscribe to my channel and it will motivate me to make more videos for you. Write and ask any questions that I will answer in the comments below this video. Bye bye and I love you!